They was trying to get us off the land because the only way they can reclaim the land is it has to be abandoned. That means it don't have a caretaker. That's the only way they can claim the land. But we still here. They thought we wasn't gonna never figure out who we was, but we ain't never forget. Everybody that's probably watching this, somebody in their family talking about we got Indian in our family. No, we don't got Indian. We are the Indian families.
Mm.
We the ones. We was already here.
Two more. Well, we'll see. How do you feel about exploding head syndrome and deja vu?
Well, deja vu is more my territory than exploding head syndrome. I'm not quite familiar with that term. But deja vu, it can come from a series of things because nothing is new under the sun. And sometimes the circumstances is so similar to a circumstance in a past life till it's almost identical. And you have an aha moment. I did this before. You did do it before, but only you had on blue pants instead of green ones. That was the thing that was different. When you have a deja vu, figure out what's different. Then you know that, oh, okay, I experienced it in the last life, one of these prior lifetimes, and only it was a little bit different.
Mhm. Um, Romana says, "Can someone please talk about melanated women being having Rh negative blood?"
It's not just melanated people, it's also unmelanated people that have Rh negative blood. Contrary to popular opinion, the largest cross section of Rh negative in the melanated community is O negative, right? And that's they call it a universal blood type. And they can give anybody blood, but they can't take blood from anybody, only from certain ones, right? But yeah, so the melanated woman is a original bloodline of the negative blood, the Rh negative blood. But they're not the only ones. It's across all communities have Rh negative blood.
Mhm. All right. Can you ask him to speak on the? Oh no, we already went over that question. Uh, these are. Let me see. Talk about Jesus is actually ISIS.
All you got to do is go back to the Greek. If you go back to the Greek, the spelling for the word that they translating as Jesus is Iesous. In the Greek pronunciation, the capital I automatically silences the E, goes hard on the S, silences the O, go hard on the US. It's ISIS. One language back. That's all you got to do.
All right, we're gonna take one more question, then I'm gonna let these gentlemen close it out. Who was the first to actually civilize the white man?
The white man. The white man ain't white, first off. And at some point in time, all people have decided to live what we would consider in this day and time a savage lifestyle. But Mother Nature does that for a reason. Everything she do is for a reason, but we don't always understand it.
All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up with that. I'm trying to see if there's all right, well, this is the last one. Last one. Who were the Washita Moors? What about the Empire Washita de Mundia? I hope I'm saying
Yeah,
that.
so that translates as the empire of the Washita mound builders. And the Washita Moors was restored under Empress Tierra Verdiasi Gostinel Bay. It's like in one thing you need gas for power, another thing you need electric for
Exactly.
power,
Yeah.
right? Some stuff you use water for power.
Mm-hmm.
right? So some things you use coal for power. You use
Mm-hmm.
different stuff. It's just like different crystals have different properties,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
So the stone that Stone Mountain is organically made of. It's formed into a actual crystalline structure. It's a
Mm-hmm.
pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the older ones because the oldest ones grow forests on them and they call them mountains.
Mm. Mm.
But after
Mm.
sitting for so long unused, they get covered with soot. The soot turns to dirt.
Mm.
Then vegetation will naturally spring from the dirt. It's the
Yeah.
law of nature.
Uh-huh.
This just
Yes,
like the Great Pyramid of China, right? Pull up Black Pyramid of Alaska,
okay. Give me 1 second. You keep talking. I'm gonna pull it up. Right.
right? So when you understand that we was here, the mission is follow the biblical code. The biblical code is a supplanter code. What is a supplanter? It's an underminer. Who is the supplanter? Jacob. Who did he supplant? Esau. What's the description of Esau? He was ruddy red and hairy. The red man is who? The red man of the Americas. The ruddy red man is dark ass red.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they put ruddy in front of it instead of just red. One.
Mm. So this is in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
So what's up? What's the science on this right here, Rod? What's this? What's going on with this right here?
That's a, we had to stop using that one because they opened a portal Stargate. The Stargate portal was part of a 3-point flux on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
It went from this pyramid system
Mm-hmm.
to La Palma to southwestern Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And in that's how the enemy was able to escape the last great cleanup to get
Mm.
wicked off of Earth. So when you read in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, he said that the Dark Brothers had escaped. When he got rid of them the first time, they was able to be called back in by the priests of the earth,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
He also tell you about creating Egypt in the Emerald Tablets too.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this is known to what you call academic scientists, right? Egyptologists knew this already, right? World historians knew it already. It's a secret
Mm.
kept in the Masonic Lodge, and you ain't supposed to know, and I'm telling it
Yes, sir. How do you know, brother?
because I studied the Masonic Lodge to find out what they teach. And when I found out what they teach, I began to study how they communicate. And once I studied how they communicate, I began to be able to read their language. And I
Mm-hmm.
could tell you what they're saying in the signs and symbols because I study signs and symbols.
Mm-hmm.
All of their information is public information.
Mm-hmm.
The only secret is you ain't supposed to know you organic to the land until you wake up of your own accord.
Mm-hmm.
The first one wake up, his job is to wake everybody else up. He become the alarm clock. Well, here I am, screaming like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Rod, I heard you talk about in another interview also remote viewing. Now you talked earlier about voodoo and how they called it evil. A lot of this our ancient sciences are people consider pseudo bullshit or whatever word, verb, adjective you want to use, but they just think it's some hocus pocus shit. Could you talk to us about remote viewing? Do you use it? How effective it is? All that stuff, my brother.
I do use control find out events, and I need to go back and see what they were. I use the techniques that was developed by the CIA called control remote viewing.
Mm,
Made a parody in a movie called Being Men Who Stare at Goats,
mm,
right? But it's based on a true story. When they dismantled Germany, Russia got all of the kooky sciences that they call fringe sciences. America got all the technicians in Operation Paperclip. Look it up. Operation Paperclip when they began to find out the Russians knew all of the intelligence, but they couldn't figure out how they was doing it until a KGB agent defected and told them that they were using psychic spies to spy on America. So America commissioned the military to study it and find out if it's possible to create a psychic spy. And they formulated a technique called controlled remote viewing, where you can develop the mind to see distant places, what they call bilocation in your vision, where your mind can go to a place where your body can't.
That's powerful. So, is this something that we're all naturally gifted with? Is this something we knew how to do when we was young and we forgot because of the indoctrination? Is it hard? What would you say to somebody who wants a remote view right now, controlled remote view right now?
So it's instructional videos on YouTube from the creators, but I use the manual personally as my study guide. The manual you can pick it up on Amazon for about $10
Mm,
or less if it's used. But
mm,
the thing about it is it's the same technique as tarot card reading.
mm,
It's just in tarot card you are learning more detailed tuning of the senses than you do in control remote viewing. But the benefit of learning control remote viewing is it's applicable sooner than being able to intuit the tarot cards effectively.
mm, mm. I want to talk to you about our music. You keep
hmm
talking about the organic people of the land. Uh, is the music? What would you consider organic music? Does it matter if it's vulgar? If it talks about pussy popping, shooting this, shooting that? What do you think is? Cause maybe that might be subjective, but is hip
Our
hop?
music, no matter what our music is talking about,
Mm,
is telling us the chiefs what's going on the land.
mm,
If it's talking about pussy popping, booty shaking, if it's talking about robbing, stealing, killing, drug dealing, it's all telling. It's like a news reporter.
mm,
We can't get accurate news from the news media, but the stories that come across redundant in the rap is the grievance that's vexing the
mm,
community,
okay,
right? And those
okay,
things that come out as love stories in the song is the affection of the community.
yeah,
So
mm,
we can tell the status of relationships by the content of the love song.
yes.
So we know where the family relationships is. When we hear songs like "Ain't Nothing Going On But the Rent," we
You
understand
knew what was
that,
going on at that time.
right. We know what's going on in the community is the sisters is getting frustrated to the point where if you ain't bringing something to the table, they not letting you sit down,
Right.
right? So, cause in our real culture, our women will give you all of the money if you about something.
Mhm.
But so many of them got burnt by motherfuckers that was a waste of space and taking up oxygen that real people could be breathing. They become scorned, and then they start telling the next dude, "Ain't nothing going on but the rent."
Got to have a J-O-B. If you wanna play with me. I know the
That
song.
means that our
It's
man,
going
see,
on.
the
But the
woman don't
red.
really care if you got a job or not. She'll go get one.
Facts, facts,
But you
facts.
got to be willing to pick up the slack where she fall off. If she go out and work, you got to be willing to do the housework, right? Some women don't want to stay at home for raising the kids for 30 years. They want to go out and experience the world as a worker,
Hmm.
right? Worker give them the opportunity to meet new friends, form new alliances, and find out what's going on with the sisters across the land. So some of them have to work. It's ingrained in them to do this investigation. So the
Hmm.
guy that they pick have to be willing to understand the culture enough to know that when a woman is trying to work, she ain't just trying to go to work. She's
Hmm.
trying to find out what we need to be doing in our relationship to help the land heal,
Hmm.
right? Heal the people on the land. We more concerned about our people than we are about ourselves.
Mm, mm,
Because the plight of our people is going to be the overall plight of our children,
mm,
right? So if we could care about the future, we have to protect the future by protecting the children, right? Because when we get done raising the children, guess what they go own? The future.
mm,
So we own the now. As the adults and as the elders, we own the now. That's our job. But what we gonna do with it in order for it to be a benefit for our children so that the future they shouldn't have to solve the same stupid problems that we working with that our parents didn't solve. Right? So they got us fighting for civil rights. Civil rights is fighting to be a part of a corporation as a civil servant.
mm,
As a civil servant, you become a trustee in a slave camp.
mm, mm.
Right? But we didn't know it. That's why Martin came out when Elijah told him what was going on because he didn't know. Right? So when Elijah came out and told him what was going on, he told us, I think I might, or he told Harry Belafonte, I think I might have integrated my people into a burning house.
Mm,
What is he talking about? The fall of America. Elijah Muhammad wrote a book called The
mm,
Fall of America.
mm,
Right? So all of these things become relevant. When you listen to him explaining and vexing his grievance on the NBC interview, he tell the whole story, how they displaced us from the land, mechanized the land, picked people who didn't look like us to replace us as the owners of the land.
mm.
But the part he didn't know is the niggas that owned the big house wasn't us, but they looked like us. And they used those people that they call the slave master to hide as the house nigga. And that's why our people don't like house niggas.
If they was not us, who were they?
They were conquistadors, blackamoors.
The Moors. The Moors was the sellouts then.
No, they not sellouts.
They were just
You gotta
slave.
understand
I'm
they the
trying to get
attackers.
the
It's a
attackers.
chess game.
Okay.
So this is why they always tell you that black and white are classifications.
Mm.
If you don't understand the classification, you can't unravel the deception.
Okay.
Right? So
Yeah.
as long as you identifying and using the paperwork of your enemy to try to write your way into the law as a legitimate person, proves you an imbecile in law, which means you have no right to your inheritance of the land.
Mm,
But when the gig is up, is when you realize that they use a nation as a corporation. All nations is governed under Uniform Commercial Code. Uniform Commercial Code governs all international trade. They've been trading our labor under the false pretense of giving us jobs. They gave us monopoly money called fiat,
mm.
right? To replace the gold that they not allowed to use, but they can keep us from using it too.
Why they not allowed to use it?
Because it ain't
Mm.
theirs. They have no birthright to it.
They got it all under the World Trade Center, right?
Under the White House, all kind of
Yeah.
places. They got them in tunnels everywhere,
Mm,
right? So those are what they call the royal coffers.
mm,
Every land had royal coffers. Europe had their own. The Moors looted it.
mm,
But they created something called a Khazarian Jew,
mm,
which was actually bankers from the high mountains of Prussia.
mm.
So now you
Okay.
wonder, now you seeing what's going on over there in Russia. It's a
Mm.
war against the Khazarian mafia.
You connecting dots right now, brother. God damn, you connected some dots. Okay, be careful. Go ahead, talk.
Okay, now who he trying to get rid of? Right? Now he said he was trying to get rid of the cabal. Who was Trump trying to get rid of? What he called
Mm,
them?
mm,
The cabal, right?
mm.
In the cabal, he also called the deep state. State is those ones who had their real meeting places deep underground in bunkers.
Mm,
That's so that me and you don't know what they talking about
mm, mm,
unless we know control remote viewing.
Mm.
Then we the fly on the wall, Miley Cyrus, right? And as the fly on the wall, we get enough information to come through like a wrecking ball,
Mm. Talk to
right?
him. Talk to him.
So even the ones that don't look like us know the code,
Mm.
right? Listen to what she's saying in Fly on the Wall. She's trying to listen in on the conversation,
Mm.
right? And how do you listen in on you become the fly on the wall? How do you do that? Control remote viewing, right? Once you learn control remote viewing, you can actually go look for yourself. I went looking for Jesus and I couldn't find him.
Come on, brother. Don't say that. Don't say that,
But I can
brother.
tell you who I did
Who
find.
you found? Who you found?
I found Cleopatra. Ask these ask these
And
people where her tomb at.
and I'm not even joking. What did she? What happened when you found her? I'm not. I'm very.
She was running for her life is what happened. They told you she committed suicide
Mm.
with an adder.
Mm.
Don't know. They didn't do that back then.
Mm.
That's not how they killed themselves.
Mm.
Just like that model that they said jumped out
Jumped
that
off the
building.
building. Yeah,
That's not how women commit suicide.
that's a man. Yeah, yeah.
That's out of context. That
Mm.
telling us, chiefs on the land, look at the situation. It ain't what they telling you. It doesn't match. And what Johnny Cochran say about the glove with OJ?
If it don't fit, you must equip.
Right. So
Allegedly.
if the story don't fit the narrative
Acquit.
they giving,
Acquit. I'm sorry.
if the story not fitting the narrative they giving, right? Now we know from experience. We can look this shit up. There was a genius they decided to throw out of a building of a mental institution and say he was insane, right? Because he was revealing top secret information that they didn't know how he got, right? But the problem is they couldn't explain how he unscrewed the gate that covered up the window
Mm.
on the